Hey everyone, welcome back in the huddle. We back here again with y'all today for a good episode, a really good episode. We're gonna do a mid-season recap. We're gonna bring Margo back into the fray to go over what we predicted in the beginning of the season compared to what we have now. See who had more right and who was more wrong. Normally we have our guests jump on later, but let's go ahead and jump into the bullshit today. Yeah, a
Let's
lot to
get
go
to it,
over.
man. Yeah, let's get to it.
So before we get into our main topic, though, we want to go over some quick trades that we had in the league and see how y'all feel about them because some of them are a little shaky. So Skylar traded Tyron Tracy and Jalen McMillan for Bo Nix and Dontamian Wicks to Clarence. That was decent.
That was
It wasn't
decent.
nothing-
It wasn't horrible.
It wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible. You've been trading quarterbacks all year, so
I mean,
yeah,
I had to get 3. I had to get one more stashed.
but you got to give away. Did you give away? Who was it?
Tracy.
No, the quarterback you had, Herbert. Did you have Herbert at one point in time?
No, I had Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. That's what it was. Yeah, Trevor
and I was
Lawrence.
sick of his shit.
Okay, so that was fair. And then another trade with Chase and Eamon. Now this one was kind of like Chase gets Malik Willis for Xavier Leggett. I mean, actually, it was a decent trade because Willis is not going to start.
It
I was
wasn't
about to
bad.
say they could have dropped
Yeah.
him on the waiver wire and it didn't need to be a trade.
Yeah, true.
But I like that they did it the right way.
That's Eamon always above board.
Always.
Yeah.
Last trade was a bigger trade. a bigger trade. Even got Najee Devin Singletary.
This shit was extortion. That's why.
Whenever this nigga trade, I mean, like, you can't get no winners.
It can't get until just then, right? Like, what the fuck was that, yo?
Oh shit. Okay. So Najee, Devin Singletary, Kenneth Walker for Bijan, Zach Moss, and Tyler Algier.
Hey, look, shout out to Iman. Look, good job, bro. Good job, bro.
But I would say to me it was more like it was just basically Najee and Walker for Bijan. That's how it
Exactly.
because
Exactly.
Devin Singletary's not really starting anymore over Tracy.
Well, sources said that this was a move for postseason because of the keeper situation. So that's what my sources are telling me. So
Okay, after the season.
yeah,
Okay.
What?
this was a keeper move.
When was Bijan drafted?
What round? Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
what round was he drafted?
He was drafted.
I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I don't know if him.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not necessarily a bad move though. If you know your team's 1-6 and not gonna go to the playoffs. I mean, I did I had the same idea last year. So my keepers were garbage because I had Dak in the first round. Didn't want to keep him in the first round, but I needed a quarterback. So
Yeah.
I made those draft picks for next year, for this year, which is why I got Kyler Murray so late.
Who
And
did your source say they were trying to keep? Said person. I don't want you to reveal your sources, but I'm just curious to know who they were trying to keep.
I'll only go to say Bijan was a big keeper move. I'll only say that. I won't give away any other information.
That's fair.
So it was a very long-sighted view, and I respect that.
So Bijan was drafted first overall. Ebon drafted him first. That was his first pick.
This year?
This year. So that means if he's a keeper next year, his first round's gone.
Yeah, but I mean, Bijan in the first round is
that's a good
pick. Yeah.
It's not bad.
If you let him go, he'll be drafted again in the first round. Easy.
So
Be a top 5 pick.
While we laughed, my sources told me that it wasn't bad on that part. So
I mean, looking at his team, he's probably going to keep Drake London, Bijan, and he probably a quarterback, probably Trevor Lawrence or something like that. I mean, it'd be
You
smart to
sound
keep
so
quarterback at least.
disappointed.
No, I'm saying I'm looking at his team and I'm thinking like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
nobody else he
that
could
sounds
really.
about right. That's what the
Yeah,
reports are saying. Yeah,
he wouldn't want to
yeah.
keep Jerry Jeudy or Michael Pittman, maybe Pittman, depending on who's playing quarterback for them next year. But
So, yeah,
so
I
I'm
was
saying
trying to.
that's not. With that idea in mind, it's not like I get it. But him making that trade is setting up Eamon for a better position for the playoffs.
absolutely.
Because full disclosure, Eamon texts me like still on the fence, like should I do this? And I'm sitting there like, yeah,
Of course you should.
yeah, that's not bad at all.
Always overthinking.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well,
it is what it is.
I was trying to see when Najee was drafted as well, so I could kind of compare the differences, but I can't find what round he was drafted.
Mm-hmm. Now Najee is historically a better second half player of the season, so but right now, I mean his last game or two he was real solid. But before that he hasn't been
he had like a
he's up and down all year.
3-game stretch where he's been hooping.
Okay.
So
all right, we'll leave EJ alone. Let each manager strategize their own team. Come back strong next year. You learn from your bumps.
Learn. Hopefully he learns. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So next year we'll come back strong.
Absolutely.
Keep hope alive.
I don't know if I'm going to raise the fist. I don't know if I'm going to do that.
You lost me on that
one.
Yeah. Before we get into the main topic, though, do you guys want to go over the whole text messages going on about the adding points for defensive players? How y'all feel about that?
So, give you the opportunity to kind of explain where your thought process is and what you're trying to do and why you even asked for the change.
So we had that conversation, Scholar and I and Clarence on the pod about increasing the defensive players' points, and we thought it was a good idea. I honestly didn't think it would have this much rub when I offered it out. Usually, when I'm thinking of making a move like that, I'll text Scholar separately, I'll text you separately, I'll text Ray separately, see how y'all feel about it, get a pulse check before I even put it out to the league. And then at that point, I already know it's going to pass.
Right.
But this time, I just had a feeling like it was going to pass, and I put it out there, and it was like 5 people said yeah, but then they want to see how it was done, and then 2 people didn't vote. But it ended to be more rub than I thought it was going to be. But basically, what it came down to is I started realizing that like the linebackers' points don't really seem that bad, but defensive line players and DBs weren't really scoring any points. So I really want to increase their value, especially with sacks, because but
it's only going to be a few players that's going to get that. Like you can't fault that to the system. Like defensive linemen are not going to be high rate like tacklers at that point.
Exactly.
Dude, so like the linebackers are getting like 10 to 20 points. Like that's enough alone.
So in hindsight, what was probably better to do was just like increase the points for the D linemen and the DBs, and not like increase tackles, because tackles is coming straight from mostly the linebackers. But the D linemen are going to make their bones off of sacks. So maybe just increasing sacks and like maybe pass defended for DBs to allow those players to get some better points. But that was the bulk of it. I just wanted to find ways to make them more valuable, because to me, this seemed like it was an afterthought. Like you just picked up players off the waiver wire, put them on your team for those positions because you had to. Then I want to make it more valuable.
I don't think that's true, but why do you want more points to be scored? Do you feel like people aren't scoring enough points? Like
in those positions,
I think the defense, that's what separates some teams, like their defensive players.
I will say, defensive player helped me win this week. So
like. So that's what I'm saying.
What'd you say?
A defensive.
What position was that?
Linebacker.
So I'm saying. So I was saying, in hindsight, after everything went down, I'm thinking that linebackers probably should just be untouched, because they're making enough points off sacks and tackles and interceptions, because they're right in the middle of everything. So increasing the points for tackles really shoots up linebackers.
Gotcha.
But increasing the points for maybe just sacks really just helps the defensive ends and defensive tackles.
But I don't understand why there needs to be more points.
Because I feel like they're just not scoring enough points. They're just like they're 3 points, 4 points here.
Nah, I just had a guy give me 10 points.
A defensive lineman.
You're talking about specific positions arenn't given enough points, not like linebackers.
Linebackers are
it was Danielle Hunter.
Okay.
The end. Like, I think the system is fine. Like,
well, since we're bringing up controversy, right? Why would we not be willing to? And me and Stavo already had this conversation, but I kind of want everybody to hear what we're talking about here. As far as the receiver yards, if the defensive players are supposed to be making defensive points, why do we have return yards for cornerbacks?
Why do we have points for receivers?
Return yards.
No.
Okay.
My counteract to that is it's the same thing as, like, let's say Josh Downs is playing with Richardson, right? He throws an interception, and Josh Downs, the DB caught the interception. Josh Downs gets the tackle. He gets a point for that tackle, right? It's not offense; it's a defensive point. It's the same thing. If the DB gets the interception and Josh Downs hits the ball and he fumbles it and recovers it, he gets points for a tackle, the fumble force, and the fumble recovery. So a shot total was points for him too from doing that.
That situation is way more of an anomaly than a cornerback returning yards. Like, we know that the cornerback is going to return yards. You have to get an interception, and then, like, too many things has to happen in order for them points to materialize. Those points for return yards, they don't have to have anything happen except for said person is kicking or doing punt returns. So I respect that analogy, but that kind of is apples and oranges in comparison to cornerbacks versus a wide receiver tackling in a ball after an interception.
Yeah, but see, the fact is I can't turn off points for cornerbacks who are returning punts or kickoffs. Like, I can't just say only receivers can get points for this return and not DBs or anybody else. So
okay.
The thing I want to say is, okay, so if we know your return yards for a DB, then you should target those DBs on the draft or on the waiver wire, because some of them do return yards. But I think NFL itself has already reduced the amount of returns we get, period. So that scenario doesn't really happen as often anyway. It is a little more fluke. But if you tailor your team and your roster to only have those players who do those returns, you're going to lose because it doesn't happen that often. It's a risk. So you can decide to yourself, do I make that risk on my team by adding that player and playing them that particular week? Or you can play somebody else who has a higher floor that's going to just get tackles or whatever. But that option is still out there. I don't want to take away the option, period, and not have it out there at all. Because at the same time, you're going to see a play happen and somebody run a kickback, and you're like, man, I wish I could have got points for that, because that is a football play. And my whole point when I created the league was, let's back up. This league was created because I was in so many other leagues where I saw points not being utilized in the league. And I'm not the kind of person that goes to somebody else's league and sees their settings and then bitches about it. I'm going to see their settings, and I'm going to draft my team accordingly to those settings, and I'm going to just play that league. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to create my own league. We're going to do more points. We're going to have more ways to get points, and we're going to make it more fun. And so that was where it came from. So I don't want to now go back and take away those points, because, like, kick returns and all that stuff is still part of the game. Like, we should still get points for that.
I get that, but when you originally created the league, didn't we have defensive teams? Wasn't it switched later on to individual players?
It was.
So that logic of creating the league for more points, you kind of took that away when you took away the defensive teams. But
you took away defensive teams because what happened was, so there were some defenses that weren't good. And
just like there's cornerbacks that's not good.
And the offense is constantly scoring them all the time. So there's that team is constantly returning kicks the whole game. And that caused them to inflate their defensive score. So you have somebody like the the Ravens, who are always a nice defense, getting outscored by like, I don't know.
So how's that any different from the individual player that can return punts and their points are inflated because they're returning points? It's literally the same thing. It's the reason why we changed to individual.
That's different because that DB is on the field. If he gets the interceptor, the punt return and runs it back to himself, then he gets individual points. It's different for like a defense who was on defense playing like shit, but special teams are playing good because they're getting the ball all the time. He's a DB, so he's just getting points off of what things that he's doing individually.
So you're looking at it from an individual standpoint. I'm looking at it from a team standpoint. So regardless, I think the outcome is still the same. If a team has a cornerback that does punt returns, their points are going to be inflated. The same way as a team who picks a defense who does a lot of point returns. So if the goal was to remove that from happening, then you kind of removed it, but then you just put it on the same individual level with now the cornerbacks just being able to get those return points. So yeah, but essentially you did the same thing. It's just now it's just a player instead of a team.
It's on an individual level, so it isn't the same thing because the defense itself is not getting the points.
The points are still inflated, though. The points are still inflated. That's the point that I'm making.
No, inflated was on the defense side because the defense itself was shit, but the special teams was doing good. If the defensive player is returning punts on a regular basis, it's not inflated. This is what he does on every day, on every week basis. Every week he's returning punts.
He's playing against other teams who are going against a cornerback that doesn't return yards, so they're not getting those points. So essentially, that team who has the cornerback, their points are inflated.
They're not inflated. It's the points that player made. It's like saying that I got CeeDee Lamb and you have like some whack receiver, and my
that's offense versus offense. That's my fault for not picking a better wide receiver.
It's your fault for not picking a better DB.
Not necessarily, because there's so few of those players as opposed to a wide receiver that you're almost creating a cop out. You're making it so that, I don't really have to do homework on that defensive player. All I have to do is pick a cornerback that does punt returns, and I'm good.
But that is homework. It is
but
homework.
It's not, though. It's not. You're not really picking a cornerback that's actually doing defensive plays. You're only picking that cornerback because you know he does punt returns. That's a cop out.
How's that cop out?
Because it's easy.
No, it's not easy. It's a risk because you don't get those points every game.
But then you just get the regular points that he would score as being a cornerback.
Right.
So it's not a risk.
It is a risk because
how? He's playing cornerback. He's playing cornerback, right? And he's returning yards, returning punts.
Right.
So how's that a risk to pick that player on my team?
Because you're not getting those points like that every single week. Because kickoffs are so skewed down with NFL rules.
But you're playing the law of numbers at that point. I have an opportunity to score on either punt returns or what he does as a cornerback, as opposed to me picking a player that's only getting points off of what he does as a cornerback.
That's true.
It's not necessarily a risk. It's a cop out, because I'm saying, shit, if he don't get it on the cornerback, he could get it on the points. On the return yards. Whereas you're playing somebody that has to be doing well as a cornerback. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's a risk. It's more of a risk to the person who doesn't have the cornerback who's doing punt returns, because they have a better chance of losing to said player in a one-on-one matchup.
So then whose fault is that for getting a DB, not getting a DB? I mean,
yours, because you put punt returns on
everybody has the same option to draft the player or get them off waivers or trade for the player. So if your DBs don't return punts or kickoffs and they're just getting points off regular tackles and interceptions, whatever, then
I respect that logic, right? So, but if that's your logic, then why do you want to change the defensive points in the beginning? Everybody has the same opportunity to pick the same players that could potentially do points. Why are you looking to even change the points for defensive players based on that logic that you have there, and you're not willing to change the return yards based on the logic of, well, you could pick your players, right? It kind of seems like a double negative.
We keep it the same. At this point now,
all
I'm
right.
just
Well,
like,
I guess we got to keep
yeah.
it the same then.
No, I was gonna come in here and say for real, like at this point now, after everybody was saying, or half the league was saying, you know, well, first of all, half the league said they wanted it, and then after we voted for it, then those half was like, I don't like the way it's implemented. I want someone
That's
more,
true.
someone less. So now I was that's why I pulled back and I didn't respond anymore. I was like, no, I'm gonna just let it sizzle for a second,
Yeah.
and come back to it later because I was like, it got too complicated. If it's gonna be this complicated, then it's like fuck it, leave it status quo. Like Quan says, leave it the way it is and not touch it. I just felt like there were some players. I was just trying to find ways to make things more
competitive,
not competitive, but just make it more relevant. And I just felt like there were some players, like Ray was saying, like sometimes when you go out there, you pick players for defensive players, like defensive tackles mainly, and like I said, it's mostly defensive tackles and DBs. Some of them are just scoring like 3 points here, 2 points there, and I want to make things a little more relevant for them, especially like those players who have like 2 or 3 sacks in a game, and they come out only scoring like 6 points. I'm like, you should have more points for that. You're scoring 2, 3 sacks in a game. That's for a defensive end. 3 sacks in one game is like historical. Like you should have come out with more than like 6 points. So I was trying to find ways to like increase that. But I'm now seeing that in discussing this with you guys and with the league, it got way too complicated, right? So
it's so political.
So it's like, why
now?
No, it's the truth though. Like I honestly did not think it was gonna be this complicated. When I put it out there, I thought it was gonna be like a no-brainer. Like everybody's like, yeah, bet, let's go ahead and do that. And everybody was like, I don't know.
I know that's probably crazy for you how things just switched up.
It really was. I was like, why are we arguing about this? This is pretty easy. And then now I'm like, fuck it, well, let's keep it the way it is, and I'll leave it alone.
Yeah,
that sounds frustrating. I apologize.
Yeah, I definitely apologize as well.
No apologies needed. I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the feedback. I understand your point of view. I want your point of view. So I come to you guys all the time for your point of view on things. So I get that. So I think going forward, just dead this we can move on. I'm gonna leave it the way it is, and going forward, I was gonna draft all DBs who return punts. But moving on. So today's main topic was so we have Mario on. Was that week 1 between week 1 and week 2, and we had week 2, and we had a discussion on what our preseason rankings were. So let me remind everybody what they were real quick. So for me, it was EJ, BK, Eman, this guy at 7, Clarence at 6, then Quan, Ray, Mar at 3, me at 2, and Chase at 1. And then Scholar was EJ at 10, then BK, the same there, and Eman at 8. And then it was Clarence, me at 6, Sky at 5, Mario at 4, Quan at 3, and then Ray and Chase. Then Mario's was a little different because Mario didn't do the ones in the middle. So Mario did the bottom 3, which is Eman, BK, and then Skylar at 8. And then 7 through 5 was a toss up between BK, me, and Clarence. And then the top 4 was Ray, Mario, Chase, and then Quan. So I guess my first question is, who got it right the most so far?
So because this is what I'm saying, right? Because we gotta put things in context, right?
All right.
I know what you're waiting for, Scott, and I'm gonna you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I was wrong about you. I was wrong about you.
Okay.
I'll give you your credit, right?
Appreciate that.
The other ones, though, I mean, it's a game or 2 behind, right?
Yeah.
Like it goes like 4 and 4, and then 5 and 3. So it's not like we were like too far off. The one that I was, all right. So I said BK, right? And y'all remember my reasoning, right? my reasoning was based on his wide receivers. He traded them. He traded all of them.
And
so
I didn't realize
once that happened,
to Ray. Ray got 2 of them.
You know what I'm saying? So once that happened, I was like, all right, well, he probably is going to stay in the bottom at that point. So
But that's what I was saying.
Can't be faulted for that one.
No, but that's what I was saying. You know, people are going to make trades, and you know, bad trades are going to happen, and good trades are going to happen.
Yeah, but did you expect those trades?
I
never expect those trades.
No,
you get what I'm saying. So I didn't expect that. So I can't be at fault for BK.
I didn't expect him to trade.
I can't be at fault for that.
I didn't expect him to trade all of his assets. Like he had 3 good ones. I think he needed to make at least one trade to make
trade.
He
would have been good, but he traded everybody.
I would have traded Cup if I was him and got something for Cup, and he kept chasing and Jefferson and just
Jefferson exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So he didn't go 5-3 or 6-2 like you suggested, predicted he would.
He traded him right after that episode, though.
He did.
So
and I was like, he must have not cared.
Yeah, I can't do nothing about that one. Everybody else, I mean, Clarence is doing a lot better than I thought he would, but I didn't have him low. I had him middle of the pack. I didn't expect him to be first.
I don't know how he's first, and we talked about that last week. So it's either he's going to continue doing that or he's going to crash hard.
So Facts. Right, so is he overachieving?
Hell yeah.
Or is his team?
Look at his points he has.
He's overachieving.
Yeah, look at the points that he's had versus the people who are below him.
I thought it was pretty decent. I thought it was middle of the pack.
Nah, Ray's at 2,400 points and he's sitting in fourth, and then he got 2,100 and he's in first. So he just has some good matchups.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The point differential.
Yeah.
So it sounds like he played BK and EJ twice. Because I don't have that luxury. I don't have that luxury. I pay them both just once. So my schedule is hard as motherfucker. I'm just
God damn.
I'm just saying.
I really wasn't expecting that shit. God damn.
You okay?
There are some teams that you play twice, and there's some teams you only play once.
You're not wrong. It was just the way you said it. It was unexpected, bro.
I need you to take a sip of your drink, bro.
I say too many sips at this point.
God damn. But I mean, you're not wrong, though.
You're not.
Right.
You're not wrong at all.
You're not.
Yeah, but I would say he's overachieving. I don't know if he stays in first over the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Depends on who he plays. But yeah, I'm really the one I'm shocked about kind of is Clarence. Other than that, I think as far as my picks, I was pretty spot on.
Man, Chase was underachieving for me. I did not expect him to be
Chase.
Yeah.
So we all agree that the biggest overachiever right now is Clarence, and who was underachieving.
Chase for me, man.
I think
it's Ray.
Okay.
I think it's Ray because Ray has the highest score. I mean, the highest points by almost 200 points, 200 plus. But he's sitting in fourth at 4-4. So
that means he's had a tough schedule.
He's had a really, really tough schedule. But based on his points, he should be in first.
Top 3.
Yeah. First or second. So I would say that if somebody's underachieving, it's Ray.
But is it underachieving if others are overachieving?
That's a good question.
Because my team got better.
You're wrong. You're not wrong.
His team's getting worse by injuries. You get what I mean? So, is that really underachieving when the competition level is rising and you're just not meeting it?
That's true. Let's go back. Why did y'all say Chase?
I picked Chase mainly because, well, first of all, off my rankings, I have number 1. And the fact that he's at number 7, then I was kind of like, okay, well, clearly by my rankings, he's underachieving the most. But looking at his team, I mean, his team is not really completely underachieving. He has some injuries with Jordan Love, but then also Mahomes hasn't played like trash, and nobody really
that
expected him to go
contributes to underachieving, though.
Yeah.
Facts.
So I think Mahomes is gonna turn around a little bit at some point in time, and
because when you look at his ceiling, like your expectation, right? So it's not like you can dismiss that.
Right. So he has the players. I mean, he has Jaden Reed. I'm about saying Brown hasn't been doing too much because of the line.
They've just been blowing people.
Running the ball. So he's not really top 10 right now. And I mean, then he has Gary Wilson, who just got Devontae Adams over there. So who knows how that will turn out. I mean, he's still doing well right now. He's doing better than Adams is.
He leading the league in receptions, I think.
Yeah, he's doing better than Adams. But I mean, I think he's underachieving. He has a solid team.
I'm not going to disagree with y'all. I can see it. I can see it being Chase as well. It's a toss up.
But I'll
lean more on. I guess I can lean more on Chase just because I think as far as what Skylar said, the competition is rising. Yeah. So you can't really say he's underachieving if others are overachieving. He just didn't have bad matchups. But
so let me ask you another question, Mario, because you also said last time that Bryce Young was going to bounce back, and now that since then it's been all downhill for him. So with Bryce Young career and how he's been playing going forward, who has a better career, him or Richardson?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So my answer is going to be based only on heart. Based on heart, I'm going to go with Bryce Young because if a grown-ass professional quarterback taps out because he's tired, I don't see how you galvanize the locker room. Like, how do you respect your quarterback if your quarterback's tapping out?
Right.
That's crazy to me. So based on that, I don't really have any faith in Anthony Richardson. But if you take that out, I'd probably say Anthony Richardson.
I heard somebody say he should have just lied. Like he shouldn't have.
Yeah, he should have just lied. He absolutely should have just lied. Because that's crazy.
I got the wind knocked out of me.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
That's my head bothered me or something like that.
But I'm tired?
Yeah.
Come on,
man. That's a bad.
They don't do media training like they used to.
Can't say that exactly.
I would say Bryce as well, only because I feel like Bryce has been playing well enough to where I believe the system he's in is just bad. I think he can go towards a better system and be a more productive quarterback. Where I see Anthony Richardson, like
he's just not good at all.
He's just not. Yeah, he's not accurate.
He should have never been. He's
a hell of an athlete, but true story. Like I was watching him in the combine and in college. I wasn't high on Richardson coming in.
Yeah.
And then that first year, before he got injured, he started balling, and I was like, shit, maybe I was wrong. And then BK dropped him, so I stashed him on my bench until next year because he was injured. Yeah. And then I was hoping that he would continue on that same path this year, but his numbers, the first game or two, he was doing good, and then since then he's just been downhill.
Let me ask y'all this question. What rookie quarterback that was drafted in Bryce Young's class do you think would have had a better season if they were in Carolina?
Who was in his class? First question. That was 2020, what, 4-3? I mean, while I look this up, so we got CJ Stroud, Will Levis. I think CJ Stroud probably would do well over there.
No, he wouldn't.
He wouldn't do what he's doing now in Houston.
Exactly.
I think he might be doing better than what Bryce
I agree with that.
There. Yeah.
I agree with that.
I don't know. I think that system is so terrible that any quarterback that would have went there would have had the exact same outcome.
Any quarterback would have been struggling.
In the rookie class, should I say? Not. I'm talking. Well, yes, they would have been struggling. Is pretty much what I'm saying.
Yeah, we've seen great quarterbacks very few times though go to a horrible franchise and turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's what they were thinking.
At least the offense, a solid offense or a solid defense. It wasn't the Carolina Panthers. It wasn't like that team is right now.
Right. And my point is, usually that talent that's coming in is usually like lauded as a generational talent, whether it's the arm talent, physical, have a physical ability. What did Bryce Young have?
He didn't have any of that. I'm not going to pretend like he did.
Shit, like all these different things. So he didn't have that going for him in the first place. So I could see a few other quarterbacks looking marginally better.
Marginally, though, right? We're not talking about it's going to be a huge difference.
I can see them winning 2 games.
You see what I'm saying?
Two more games than Bryce, or 2 games period?
2 more games than Bryce.
Yeah, I'm assuming he meant 2 more. Yeah, but they still are shit, is what I'm saying. Sure. The team is still trash.
But I think you could see the talent correlate, though. Like, you see flashes of the talent, and like maybe you've seen that once, maybe every 5 games last year from Bryce.
Yeah,
like it just didn't look good.
Yep.
Like another rookie quarterback can go there and he wouldn't get benched. They would look at him and say, okay, we see the talent, we see where we can go, let's build around him, instead of being like, you know what, we've seen enough and we're done with him.
Right. I just don't think he has the talent. And I think that's the big differential.
So does Bryce keep his job, or is he going back to Dalton after this week?
He keeps his job.
The rest of the season?
I don't think so.
Are we saying that it's Dalton, right?
So Dalton's still out.
But when he comes back, actually, I changed my mind because they just traded Deontay Johnson. There's no reason for them to try to be competitive at this point. You traded away Deontay Johnson for a bag of shit, like. Yeah.
So in that case, then why didn't the Colts do the same thing? I mean, like I get that Richardson has been playing well, but he's also only played like 10, 12 games in the NFL so far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, has he even played enough games to where we can even say he's garbage?
Anthony Richardson?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he's garbage.
I don't think he's garbage.
Yeah, I don't think he's garbage at all.
He needed to be on that bench for two years minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum, and maybe 3. Jordan Love.
Yeah.
What was Jordan Love on the bench? 5 years?
The Packers front office though is just like their organization top down. It's just amazing.
What? Then why didn't they get Aaron Rodgers weapons?
They did,
but they still won games though.
They never drafted a receiver in the first round or a running back,
and they still won games.
But I'm saying, like, they had their issues. That was a big issue.
But the thing is, though, how do you say that if all the receivers that Aaron Rodgers had came with him to the Jets? So obviously they were good enough for Aaron Rodgers.
And you see how that's turning out for him.
But what I'm saying is they pleased the quarterback. Those players are what the quarterback wanted.
At this point in his career, can we really be like valid in what he says? What he wants is going to be quality enough to win football games? Like, we've seen the record.
Not now, but I'm just saying, when you said they didn't get anybody for him, they had Lazard, Cobb, and Adams, which is who he wanted, and Jordy Nelson. I forgot about him.
You can't always please the player when the talent doesn't match. If your expectation is then, if you guys don't want him to pick the players that he want, why not go in the draft and get the best receiver available?
So I guess I'm
a guy that you want,
because I thought what you were saying was that they didn't. You said, why didn't they draft him players? But my retort to that was they had the players that Aaron wanted on the team, and that's obvious because those same players were asked to come on the Jets. So are you saying that they shouldn't have listened to Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, or are you saying that they listened to him and that ultimately made them fail?
Both. They had the option. They had the option. Oh, we're going to appease Aaron, but they didn't like that they were doing that, and so when they would go to the draft, they still wouldn't get a receiver. But then that was an issue as well, which led him leaving Green Bay.
Well, I thought it was another reason he left Green Bay.
Well, one of the contributing factors.
Okay.
But
all right,
what I'm saying, like at this point in his career, I'm just like, what he wants isn't going to work. Like,
I agree with you. On that. I just don't agree that the Packers didn't do everything that they were supposed to do to please Aaron Rodgers. I think that they did.
If that's the question, then I agree with you as well.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So in the current standings, the top 6 goes to the playoffs. So who going forward? Who in the top 6, in your opinion, Mario, is gonna fall out? Whoever's in the current top 6, who in the current top 6 is gonna fall out and not the playoffs?
So current top 6 is Clarence, Sky, me, Ray, Chase, Stavo, right?
Eamon's 5.
Eamon's 5. 7. Yep.
Eamon then me.
Okay, I got this written down wrong. So Eamon and then Stavo. Eamon and then Chase.
Yeah.
All right. So who's gonna fall out?
No, Eamon then me, then Chase.
Okay.
Chase is 7, and Quan's 8, and then BK's 9, and EJ's 10.
So that question is simply based on the top 6, right? I'm not also looking at 7, 8, and saying those 2 are going to be in, and the top 6 is going to change.
Well, if the top,
I'm not looking at it like that, right?
Well, you kind of have to. If somebody's going to fall out, who's going to take this spot?
No, because you said top 6, and I just want to make sure I can't say like
the way you phrase the question is who out the top 6 is going to fall out.
Right. Who's not going to the playoffs?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like fall out in the playoffs. Like these 6 were going to make the playoffs, and then who's going to fall out. And I was saying I don't know if those 6 are going to make the playoffs.
That's the point.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's going to make the playoffs? Right.
Who's going to make the playoffs? So,
granted, like 2 or 3 through 7 are all 4 and 4. So that's
what
really
makes
tight.
it hard.
Yeah.
But people coming off of injury.
Yeah.
CMC's coming back. Whoever got him.
Nico's coming back.
I got him.
So if I have to pick,
and just remember, I've known you for a long time.
I'm not. You're not one of the people that I think are going to fall off. Actually, you're not. Actually, you or Sky. I don't think either of you are going to fall off.
Okay, that's fair.
So
I'm biased. It's tough. It's really tough. I mean, we saying that Clarence is overachieving. So how far down does he slide? He's 6-2. So
because a couple of losses can drop you from 1 to 6 real quick.
Yep. Yeah. 2 games behind. Exactly. So let me see the schedule next week. Hold on 1 second. I'm just curious.
Clarence just lost last week.
And it's one thing to lose and score points. It's another to lose and not score.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you see the differential of you having a week where you score 400 points and you're playing EJ, not only is that a waste of 400 points, but at least you still get that points added to your cumulative points.
All right. So I actually think Clarence wins this week. He'll be 7-3. So he playing E.
No, he played me.
He played Scholar.
Huh?
Week 9?
Oh shit, I'm in week 10. I'm tripping, bro. I was like, what? Let me see. Let me go back. He about to take a L this week. All right. So that's gonna put him at 6-3. Skylar at 6-3. Who do I play this week?
Yeah. So Skylar's 5-3.
It's up in the air.
You're 5-3. And it's 4-4 from that point down. So it's a lot of tough matches this week too.
All right. So my bold prediction is going to be Sky, me, Ray, Stavo, Chase, and Clarence.
Okay. So
I think he pulls in
Eman.
5th or 6th.
So no Eman, no Quan.
I think it's going to be Eman.
Eman will be out. Okay. So you're saying
much respect, E. It's
the 6th.
Nothing personal. Just looking at. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. That's my.
How about you, Sky? What you think, Sky? Who gonna fall out?
You have to tune in to find out.
Nah, you got give me at least the top 3. Give me top 3, and then you can discuss the rest.
Myself, you. Then I'm gonna go Ray.
It's hard to count out Clarence, man. Clarence just keeps winning. I mean, his team is not like flashy, but like he just wins games.
At the beginning of the playoffs, it'll be me, Mario, Ray.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. I agree with that one.
Yeah, I think Ray's gonna be up there.
Ray's gonna be up there.
I think Ray probably be second going to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
With the first round bye. Yeah, I don't know who falls out though. Because Chase is in 7. I think Chase is gonna find a way to get up there in 6. Between the top 6.
For sure.
Just guaranteed. Man. I don't know.
Who your top 3, Stavo?
Top 3, I think it's gonna be Ray. Scott with Nico coming back could be a big thing. So I give him top. I think you might be right. I think you Ray and Sky. I think Clarence still goes to the playoffs. I think
he's gonna go to the playoffs.
Probably 4th maybe at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chase gets in there. I don't want to count Eman out though.
That's hard though, right? Yeah, like I don't either. But if I'm, are you?
It's gonna be like a three-way tie for 6th place.
Yeah,
it'll come down to like points. That's why I think it's gonna happen, and then it's gonna be tough. 6, 7, and 8 gonna be like the same record.
Yeah,
maybe even 5. Maybe 5, 6, 7, and 8. So,
any chance y'all see BK? I know EJ's not out, but any chance y'all see BK or Quan sneaking in?
I can see Quan sneaking in.
Yeah.
BK, no.
If he had the same roster and he's around that,
if he wouldn't have this record if he kept the same roster.
If he kept the same roster, he wouldn't have had this record. That's a fact. No bullshit. He kept the same record. The same team he started with. He's not in this position.
You can't count out Chase Jefferson and Cut. I mean, there's just 3 players that can put up like 50 points a game depending on the week. So I mean, and the fantasy is crazy. So I can't really say that but with the team he has now, they're more. Now all his top end receivers are gone. So you got Burrow now, which is great. But now he's starting scrappy receivers that aren't going to put up a lot of numbers. So his upside is really capped.
Yep.
And when you play these top 6, 7 teams is pretty stacked. I can't see him pulling that off. But
yeah,
I've seen wild shit happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's not out yet. He gets sneak in there. It's the 6th place, the 5th place.
Right.
That's what it's not dead. I mean, I really wanted him to keep those wide receivers because I wanted to be right. I just really knew he was going. But when he got rid of them, so there's nothing we could do any more about it. But I really think I would have been right if he would have kept those receivers, and he would have been like, what did I say, 6-2? Maybe he wouldn't have been 6-2. Maybe he would have been like
6-2. You said 5-3.
5-3. Yeah, 5-3 or 6-2 is what I said. So he would have probably been 5-3. Because what is he now? He's
3-5.
So that's a 2-game difference.
I mean, like I said, 3-5 is not that bad because everybody's just 4-4. This is 1 game out. So I mean, like,
yep,
he's right there. So I can't really count him out completely, but in the grand scheme of things, it's gonna be an uphill battle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So my last question to you, Mario.
All right.
On the last pod, last time he had you on, you and Scholar had an argument because you guys were arguing about whose team was better, who had better bench.
Okay.
So now, after all the trades have gone through, and it's been like 8-9 weeks now, whose team is better? Let's start here. Whose bench is better?
Between who?
You and Scholar.
Hold on. And let me look at Scholar team real quick. Let me make sure. I'm trying to see.
I mean, they're both decent. I mean, Mark got Brock Purdy, Eckler. Well, not really Eckler, but Brock Purdy, Calvin Ridley.
Eckler's not bad. He was injured. He came back. He's doing decent. I honestly think mine is. Are we including or not including injuries? So we got to include injuries, right? Because they're not playing.
Yeah.
Mine.
I don't know.
I got Waddle. I got Nix.
Yeah.
I got Hockenson. I got Schultz. I got Collins.
I mean, you got Brock Purdy. You got Calvin Ridley.
Right.
And is Calvin Ridley a big name?
He just had 36 points last week.
He's just coming to race.
I don't watch them.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I see him on TV, he complaining that he got to be better.
He's been shit all year.
You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong. You're 100% right about that.
Every time I see him on TV, I got to be better.
That is true.
Yeah, he's been shit all year. But week 2 he had 32 points, and last week he had 36 points. But
yeah,
I think that the second half of the season for him is going to be an uptick.
Exactly.
So I would include. Cause I was actually going to trade Mario for Calvin Ridley early this year, but I had D-Hop, so I was trying to figure out a way to get Calvin Ridley and give up D-Hop. I didn't want both of them on my team, so I never took that trade request. But I wanted to get Calvin Ridley off of him, but now it's too late.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm not gonna say your bench is trash though. Just like I said the last time, it's not trash, but I don't. If I got to pick between my bench and your bench, I'm going to want my bench.
I mean, if we're looking at like fantasy players you can put in a spot in a week and they can put up numbers for you. I mean, Waddle, Nix, Hockenson, and of course Nico. I think are the 4 players that you can put in on a weekly basis and get points for him.
And I feel like their ceiling is higher than yours.
But on your bench, I would say Purdy, Ridley.
Eckler.
Eckler.
You can't not say Eckler.
He'll give you a solid 10 to 15.
I'll give you Eckler. I mean,
that's decent for a flex spot.
But I'm saying my players' ceilings are higher, like 30, 40.
Right. And Calvin Ridley just went for 30.
We're talking about Eckler right now. We're talking about Eckler.
Oh, okay. But you can't put all your players versus one of mine, though. That's, I mean, I
was going
that's the sentiment.
And the 4 that I think that could be that fantasy viable player.
And my 4 versus your 4, the ceiling is higher.
But I don't have 4. I had Brock Purdy. I'm not trying to be funny though. I'm not trying to be funny.
There's 4, man. Like, god damn, stop. What the fuck? Come on, man. Hey, fuck y'all. I'm out. Hey, fuck.
Oh man, we got the first live crash out on the episode. Man, I know this was a long one, man, but I'm glad y'all sticking with us.
Yeah, I really wasn't trying to talk shit. I was just saying, like, I see Brock Purdy, Ridley. I'll give you Eckler, but I didn't really see anybody. I mean, Brandon Cooks, yeah. Adam Thielen, yeah. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
Let's get into the picks.
Let's finish this up. Let's get to these picks. So last week, we both picked. Let's see here. We both picked
you versus Ray.
Picked Ray over me. Both lost that. We both picked Chase over you. Both lost that. I picked Mario over Eamon. You picked Eamon. I got that one. And we both were right with Quan over Clarence, the upset, and then BK over EJ. So we're tied now, 27-8 apiece. I think we've been pretty back and forth all year. We've actually been pretty good with our picks, man. The fact that we still only have 8 losses,
right,
it's pretty wild. This year is a lot harder. Me and BK, I picked myself.
I picked you as well.
Should be hopefully a good game for myself. I need this win. You win, Clarence. I picked you.
I picked myself as well.
Okay, that's fair. So between these last, the middle 3 were pretty hard to decide. Chase and Eamon, who you got?
I got Eamon.
I got Eamon too.
Yeah,
that was close.
That was a tough one.
Really close.
Yeah, that's gonna be a real good one. That's gonna be a real good matchup.
And then Quan and EJ. You got Quan.
For sure.
And then the last one, Mario and Ray, who you got?
I'm sorry, Mario, but I gotta go with Ray on this one.
You got Ray. I got Mario.
Oh, it's a good matchup.
I got so Ray's in a good spot with Josh Downs, because now that Flacco's there, he's definitely more viable. But Pickens is on bye. Evans is injured. He just lost Diggs. So right now his team is hurting a little bit. So he has those high points to carry him for a few games, but he needs
Baker's the number 1 quarterback in fantasy, bro. He be throwing for 70, 80 points.
Yeah. I was hoping last week that he would cool out when he played me, but Baker still threw 3-4 touchdowns. It was wild.
Oh yeah, man.
But I still got Mario. I think Mario's team is pretty strong this week.
All right, man.
Hopefully Mario hears that and ends this.
Sure, apology.
After all said and done, bro, I still picked you.
That's real brotherhood right there.
Right. All right, well, this is all we got for y'all today. I'm glad hope y'all stuck around and to enjoy that. Mario, we'll have you back again some other time. All love.
Appreciate it.
All love. Thanks for joining. We appreciate that. But that's all we got for y'all today.
It's good having Mario on. Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. And we out.
We out.